Howdy. Today I'm going to be going over the Zombie Bosses Abomination pack for Zombicide Black Plague. So let's go ahead and get the box open. Alright, the first thing you're going to notice that I have in the box are the rules. So when I pull these out, you can kind of see underneath there, I've already pulled all the non-English stuff. So here's some rules. It's not too long, but you get, a few paragraphs on how each one of these bosses work. And also their targeting priority, hit points, experience, all that stuff on the back. Alright, what you also get are some cards that help you spawn these guys. Now when you look at these cards, we get an Abominator, and notice in blue, this is going to be the same for all the boss monsters. They have nothing in sight in blue. They're all pretty scary, so the game gives you a little bit of breathing room until you get to the yellow danger level. And they give you 4 of each of these guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cards for the Abominator, 4 cards for the Abomination, and 4 cards for the Abominator. And they're all pretty scary in their own right. And I believe you can incorporate 1, 2, or all of these guys in a match. And I'm going to go over suggestions on how to play them later and how to incorporate them into your games. But first, let's go ahead and look at the models, and then I'll go over the game rules for each one, as well as some suggestions on how to avoid these guys or how to use them in your match. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move this off to the side. I'm going to go through these guys one at a time. Well, before we do that, let me read you the basic rules. These abominations share the same general rules as these guys share the same general rules as abominations. You need minimum to destroy, 3 damage. You get 5 experience points for each one. Special rule, abominations, abominatrolls, and abominators are abominations. So whatever rules you follow for abominations, you get to keep those. Wounds inflicted by abominations can't be prevented by armor. We already knew that. A 3 damage weapon or more, or Dragonfire, is required to kill an abomination. So those are just the old school rules that are normally in the book. But now we're going to go ahead and look at these guys individually. Alright, this guy here is my favorite. He's the Abominatroll. He just looks really cool. If you look at his horn, he's got one broken here. He's got some nice clawy fingers, and he's got some chains going around. If I were super into painting or had the extra time, this guy would be fun to paint. Alright. I'm going to read through his rules real quick. It's pretty short, and then I'm going to show you how this guy works in action. Each attack executed by an Abominator inflicts 2 wounds to its target. That's its first rule. The next extra rule it gets: Abominators can smash through closed doors and walls when they move to reach their target zone. Set their target zone before moving them, ignoring any closed doors and walls. But you don't ignore vault doors and ramparts. Those things stay shut. If an Abominator has to go through a closed door or wall, first put a broken wall token to link its starting and destination zones. And remove any closed door token there can be. So if there's a closed door there, he's smashing through it and he's replacing it with a broken wall. The broken wall is considered to be an open door, thus can generate spawn in a previously closed building. If he walks into a building, it spawns it. This can be really annoying if you didn't want that building to spawn yet. Actors can now cross the zones. So he actually is opening up a door. I'm going to show you how this could be really useful in a moment. Then proceed moving all zombies, as the zombies' route can be finished by the zombies' route can be redirected by the wall's destruction. So they might take a different path because there becomes a new opening. So let me get together a couple tiles, put this guy out for you, so we can look at how that would work. Alright, so now we're going to look at these rules in action. So here, I have a hero that feels pretty safe inside a building. And let's get a runner. So he's pretty safe. It becomes the zombie's turn. The first thing we do is this guy has 2 paths to get to Baldric. He could go here, 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 which is the normal path an abomination would take. But this guy's awesome. So what he does, instead of taking that long, boring path, is he's going to smash through that wall to get to Baldric. So what we do, we take a smashed wall token and put it between his starting zone and his destination zone. Now that we've placed this broken wall, then we proceed to move zombies. The Abominator would go this way, and then your runner would get to go into the building and it would get to bite Baldric. This can be really dangerous if you're not paying attention to where the Abominator is, because he could bring a horde of zombies in on you and you might not have been expecting it. Alright, here's another scenario of how we can use the Abominator. So the other scenario looks like it would really suck for players. And there are times that the Abominator is going to really make your life hard. Like when he hits for 2 damage, or he comes into a building and you thought you were safe. But here, the Abominator has 2 paths to you. Since he's allowed to go this way or that way, they're both of equal distance. Because they're of equal distance and he follows the normal rules for an Abomination, you get to choose how to move him. So what I would do in this circumstance, if I didn't have the blue key yet, would say, you know what? He's going to break down this wall. Yes, it would cause this building to spawn, but it would give us an open entrance into this vault where we didn't have a key already before. So now maybe we have a player around the building, he could sneak in and get it after the Abominator is out of it. So he can open up buildings that you're having a hard time getting into if you trick him into doing so. That's what I think is really cool about this guy. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and be done with him. And now we're going to move on to the Abominator. Now, again, the Abominator looks pretty cool, just like the other guy. He's got these huge hands. He's got this weird, spiky mace-looking bone growing out his arm. Again, they did great jobs modeling with these guys. He's got his huge troll teeth. But let's go ahead and go over his rules. Abominators can only be killed with Dragonfire, including Dragonfire effects. Abomination get 3 actions to spend when they activate while having line of sight on a survivor or more. So normally you can just kind of run from an Abomination and they don't cause too much trouble. But when you start getting these boss packs, they get harder to run from, like the Abominator will just, the Abominator will just walk through buildings. This guy's really scary. If you give him line of sight, he gets 3 turns. He gets to activate 3 times, so he could walk, hit you. Or if he's already in the cell with you, it gets even worse. He attacks you 3 times, you can't prevent it, that guy's dead. So staying out of line of sight is the tactic you have to use for this guy. So I think that brings a whole lot to the game that wasn't already there before. Not only do you have to outrun an Abomination, but you don't even want this guy to see you. Alright, so let me go ahead and finish reading those rules. After all zombies have gone through their activation step, resolve the first action, including runners and abominations. The Abominator goes through the activation step again. So anybody that's getting extra activations, they go ahead and get to go, and the Abominator goes through activation again, just like we do with runners. But he might get 3. That's just really scary. Alright, so I don't really think I need to go over any of an example with this guy, because he's a normal Abomination that can't be killed by fire, and if he sees you, or any of your guys, he gets 3 activations, which is just super scary. If you combine that with this guy opening up walls, wow. Alright. Now let's go over the Abomination. This guy's pretty small in comparison to the other. I'm not super psyched about this guy. Yes, he looks kind of cool. He's got that cool little hand sticking out. But I'm not a big fan of the model. He's cool looking, but it's mainly just he's supposed to look kind of gross. I like the look of the other guys a lot better. And he's smaller in scale. The other ones are a lot taller. Alright, I'm going to go through the rules of this guy. His rules are pretty easy, but he's pretty scary. Abominations attack whenever they activate having line of sight on a survivor or more at range 0 or 1. So when they activate, they don't just use range 0, they use range 0, 1. This abomination has a ranged attack, which that brings something new to the game that wasn't already there. Then they perform an attack on all survivors in all zones at range 0 and 1, on which they have line of sight. Obstacles preventing movement between zones, such as ramparts, also prevent such an attack. So ramparts will prevent an attack, a vault door could prevent this attack, a wall could prevent this attack. So he's kind of like a normal abomination, but he attacks everyone that's nearby. In addition to attacking everyone nearby, he has range 0 or 1. Alright, so let me set up another scenario real quick. If he were in this zone, and he activated, he would attack Clovis once, because Clovis is range 0 or 1. Now what's even worse is when your party's together, and you get this guy around, maybe these guys are backing away, they're going to try to give the wounds to this guy. No, that doesn't work. You can't just stack the wounds on this guy, because now he's going to attack all these guys. This guy can't be bait or make a sacrifice to let your other guys get away, because he attacks everybody in range 0 to 1. And my understanding of this rule would be, since he's attacking everyone, you don't get to drop all the wounds on one player. Every character should receive 1 wound, because it's an area attack hitting everyone. It's not like all the zombies attacked one guy and feasted on him. What's happening here is he's simultaneously attacking everybody. So you can't just put all those wounds on one character. You have to spread them out. And that can be really scary for somebody that's almost dead. Alright. That covers the rules for these guys. Now I want to give you my rough opinions on them. A lot of, let's start with just this guy. If you were just going to bring one abomination into the game, I think it should be this guy. So if you're like, I don't want a whole lot of abominations running around, they're kind of scary. I would say if you're just looking to incorporate one thing, this guy's awesome because he brings in a new mechanic that's fairly interesting. The mechanic can hurt you, it can help you, it's just really cool. And he's 2 damage. You can still run from him just like you could any other one. The Abomination, if you're bringing him by himself and you don't already have extra abominations or something, I find this guy a little boring in the fact that you can run from him. He's got ranged attack, but you're just going to want to stay ahead of him. So as long as you can stay ahead of this guy, he's not that interesting. Alright, the Abomitroll. This guy is cool. The reason he's cool is he has line of sight. Like, if he sees you, he gets to move really fast, and that's pretty scary. The other part that's really scary, I know some of us are playing with Kickstarter characters that can start at level 1 and do 3 damage. If you're playing with those kind of characters, I feel you have to have this guy. This guy has to be killed with Dragonfire. So you can't just do 3 damage to him. So if you're playing with any of those powerful characters that can do 3 damage right off the bat, you still have to worry about this guy. I don't really think the game is that fun if you can run around and kill all the abominations and kill everything without ever having to look for Dragonfire. So if you're playing with some powerful characters, I think you need this guy. Now, if you're playing all 3 of them, I feel that if you're playing all 3 of these guys, you're gonna need a powerful character. Not a super powered character. Like, for example, I don't like having any character that can start level 1 and do 3 damage. I just think that's a little too powerful. But there are characters out there that can get to 3 damage with some work. And I feel you have to have some characters that can get to 3 damage relatively quickly. If you're playing these guys plus a normal abomination or 2 extra abominations, I play 2 abominations plus these guys and 3 necros. So for me, if I only could kill these things for Dragonfire, it would make almost all the missions unbeatable. Because there's 4 torches and 4 dragon biles. That gets you 4 kills. So let's say you hit one other abomination here. Great. But when they get back up, when you get another card, because there's 4 of each of these in the deck, you can't deal with them anymore. I like that you actually have to have something powerful to deal with this guy. But if you're going to play all 3 boss monsters or multiple abominations, I feel that you should have somebody that can get to 3 damage on their own. And I'm going to show you two of the guys that I'm going to be playing that I think do great at this. So, this girl, Genevieve, she starts with +1 range damage. And that's great. And she's got this spot for a crossbow. But at level 1, none of your starting items do 2 damage with ranged. So it's not like the hammer. If I had +1 damage melee, and I had a guy that had the hammer, at level 1 he'd be pushing out 3 damage. So abominations aren't scary at all. The only abomination that would be scary would be the troll. So I like this character because she has to work for it. You have to successfully get to a vault and get the artifact from it and get it in her hands before you can start killing most of the abominations. Another girl I like is this one. Notice in her orange range, she gets +1 melee damage. So yes, you could give her a hammer at the beginning, but she's still only killing fatties just like anybody else. You actually have to level her up while these crazy abominations are trying to kill you. And it's not even like a yellow range. It's a orange range. You have to get all the way to orange before you can start dealing with abominations other than fire. So if you incorporate these kind of postponed 3 damage into the game, it's kind of cool because for a while, they're all really scary. And as long as you only have 1 or 2 of these, maybe 2 or 3 of these characters that can deal with abominations, they don't have a map presence everywhere. Yeah, near them they can kill the abominations, but your other people still might be out of luck while they're running across the board. Because for me, when I'm playing, I might have 5 abominations on the board at once. They're probably not all in one tight little group, and even if they were, it would be scary for one character to try to deal with them all. So if they're spread out, even if you have a powerful character that can kill them, they might not be in the right place at the right time. And because I don't like the idea of making the game super easy, I like that they have this troll that can only be killed with Dragonfire. And taking it a step further, if you're playing with these extra abominations and you're playing 3 damage characters, I plan on changing when a mission says one of your goals is to kill an abomination. Well, once you have a character that does 3 damage, that's pretty easy. I suggest making the rule kill the troll abomination, because then you still have to deal with the Dragonfire and the torch. So you can run from him, you can have your fun game, but you still have, that mechanic is still in play. You're not dropping that mechanic entirely.